My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Aquarius. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. For today, I'm going to be doing a general reading of past, present, future 9 card spread. I'm going to be using the regular tarot deck, clarify with the vampire deck, draw a special vampire card, draw vampire oracle, and then draw 3 yes or no answers for thee. So let's get started on your reading. Okay, the general card is the Two of Wands. Let's look at the first row, which is also your past. You start off with Four of Swords reversed. Eight of Wands reversed. Queen of Wands, your counterpart, Leo. You can have Leo somewhere in your star chart. Okay. Yeah, okay. What I saw here is you were, motivated and inspired to want to start taking charge of some kind of situation, because normally with the Four of Swords upright is that you're in need of rest and relaxation and recovery. But since, you probably recovered and rested up in the past, now you're pretty much, or you were actually taking action regarding, this whole endeavor, voyage, quest that you were heading towards and stuff like that. But then, it's like there was a bit of a setback, that happened because there was actually no kind of movement whatsoever. So sometimes, it's like, the need and desire is there, but sometimes the resources may not always be there. But I love the fact that you remain incredibly confident, strong, and bold no matter what. And that's actually the name of the game, and the key for any kind of setback is, it's like, a lot of humans, thousands to millions, they're dealing with countless setbacks no matter what. But as long as you can as long as you can remain strong, confident, and bold no matter what, eventually you will get to the final destination of whatever you are pretty much heading towards, because you just did not give up. Interesting. Now let's look at current times. You get the Moon. Interesting. King of Cups. And Temperance reversed. Yeah, I'm kind of getting, the sense, that you're heading down towards this, how can I phrase this? Yeah, you're heading down towards this kind of like a new journey or path of some kind, because maybe, it's like, okay, you've dealt with some kind of setback in the past, but now in current times regarding the Moon, you're heading down towards a different direction, wherever it may take you and stuff like that. And yeah, with the King of Cups, it's like being in a really good, like your senses and your intuition is incredibly clear, but there's still that sense of hesitation and doubt within you, because if you look at the expression on this king, it looks, it will sort of like, it's in its own element, but it still feels a bit, uncertain about this whole voyage and quest, because that's also leading you to feel a bit imbalanced regarding the Temperance reversed. Or you could even have Sagittarius or even Pisces somewhere in your star chart. But what I kind of see here is, I'm kind of wondering, if you're worried about, facing more setbacks in current times and stuff like that. Because with the Moon, it is definitely a new journey. Because if you look at this tiny little squiggly path, that's kind of guiding you towards the mounds of opportunity, in the back there. And the Moon is pretty much just lighting its way. And that's also a sign of clarity, and that your senses are kind of, showing you the way and stuff like that. But yet, in current times, it could also be that you feel a bit uncertain about where you're heading down towards. And it's making you feel imbalanced. Yeah, you might really want to look into that. I would never order anybody around, but that would just be my suggestion. If there's something that's kind of, causing you to, causing your gut instinct to more or less start sounding alarms of thinking, well, we might need to reconsider this alternative, route and stuff like that. The thing is it's mostly, accurate, because, if your senses are more or less the same, well, I feel a bit hesitant and a bit weird about this whole, current, situation I'm heading down towards. Yes, it will probably make you feel imbalanced afterwards as well. Well, we're going to have to look at the future. Because you do start off with Judgment reversed. Now, I'm not allowed to show Judgment, but it came in reverse, so this is kind of like goes to lack of clarity. Head is in the clouds, no grand announcements. Everything is just kind of bleak. And then you get Four of Pentacles reversed, meaning you also feel a bit imbalanced. You feel kind of like, you're not in a stable, grounded situation, and then you feel overwhelmed with the Two of Pentacles afterwards. Yeah, I mean the thing is this doesn't per se have to happen just because these cards showed up in the future. But that's why I'm here as your Vampire Tarot guide, just to remind you to say if you were to head down towards this journey, because the general card is the Two of Wands, meaning you are heading down towards this alternative journey and stuff like that. You want to make sure that it's actually going to work out for you and not make you feel like it's now sending you down towards a clueless and misty and uncertain path, regarding the judgment in the future as well. So, but let's do some clarification. Because regarding the Four of Swords reversed, you got Lovers. So the thing is this was a real good motivator because, you were actually being presented with maybe love, self-love, but also options at being at a crossroads. And that's what I saw for my beloved Aquariuses in the past, is that, you were pretty much heading down towards, this crossroads and stuff like that. But I'm going to look into why, something didn't work out immediately. But the fact is that you actually had this beautiful luxury that not many humans in this world actually have and are being presented with. My goodness, sometimes my hair just bothers me. But, is that, this is a wonderful opportunity and luxury that was presented to you, especially even if it took place in the past, because not many humans actually have the luxury of being able to actually, to receive opportunities and options in their lifetime. So regarding the Eight of Wands reversed, you get the Queen of Wands. Okay, so I love the fact that despite this setback of whatever may have contributed to no movement or maybe slow progress or something caused something does not to work out, that you remain incredibly bold, confident, and strong no matter what. And that's what I like to see is okay, you were headed down towards this opportunity, but maybe you had traffic problems or maybe some that's kind of what I see is that you were heading down towards this opportunity, but then you got stuck in traffic, for example. But you were incredibly bold and determined. It's just like Leo, or even in Taurus season, or even you could have Scorpio somewhere in your star chart. That's pretty much providing this fixedness within you on heading down towards that opportunity of wherever it may take you and stuff. So I love that. Because with the second Queen of Wands, you got the Page of Wands. So, I love the fact that, you remained, on course and stuff like that. And now you actually had the strength and determination and boldness to want to go out on this personal journey of whatever it was. Maybe it wasn't a personal journey. Maybe it was a new job offering or opportunity and stuff like that. But I love the fact that you got a Page of Wands, because that's all about going on journeys and stuff like that. Just like it's heading you down towards the moon journey. So that's what I like, is you're more or less heading down from the past towards the current moon journey. So, but I want to know more about this moon. Seven of Grails. Okay, you are being presented with more opportunities and options even in current times, and that's what I like, is more luxury, for my beloved Aquarius man, woman, follower, fledgling, whoever is, you are being presented with more opportunities and options, but I want to know more about why you may feel a bit uncertain or unclear about it. But I think, sometimes, when you're being presented with options and opportunities, it's a wonderful luxury to have, but it could also cause one to feel incredibly stressed out in the sense of thinking, but which chalice do I choose and drink from? Maybe you can only choose one chalice. Maybe you don't have the luxury to be able to taste different flavors. Maybe you just only have one opportunity and options, and maybe that's what could also cause you to also, will feel like, uncertainty, even though, it looks kind of clear. But sometimes, it's like these humans, I mean, this is what what my not follower, but my human, told me. I don't even. But anyway, what he told me is, he took an exam once and stuff like that, and then what happened was, he accidentally, crossed out the wrong answer, because that's what more or less his senses, said that it gave him this uncertainty, even though it was probably the right answer, but he still ignored the right answer and chose the wrong answer instead. And sometimes that can happen, where you pretty much just think, okay, it's like, I see these really good chalices and they look promising, but if, this other one, I'm going to choose that one instead, because I'm worried that if I were to choose, these other options and stuff like that, that's not going to work out for me. Sometimes it happens, but in such a case like that, please be so self-loving and so, self-forgiving towards yourself, because the thing is sometimes, your senses could be a bit off, and sometimes, it could also cause you to also overthink and then just have all kinds of, negative repercussions afterwards. But I think, as long as you pretty much just, do a lot of self-care and self-healing and stuff like that, then it should work out, because I think I was right all along, because for the King of Cups, you get Three of Swords. Now, you could be, getting your heart broken by a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but you could also be feeling like, thinking, I know, which answer is right, but sometimes, yeah, what I want to more or less guide you towards is, when you feel like, oh goodness, I don't know if I want to choose that one chalice because it looks, I'm not so sure I want to choose that one chalice and stuff like that because it just seems wrong and stuff like that. I would pursue it. I would, will pretty much, will turn off your negative senses and stuff like that, because this is where, you could be choosing one of the chalices and it could end up in a really negative experience, and that could lead you to feeling imbalanced. So, from one of the chalices that you could be choosing from, the Seven of Cups, opportunities and options, if something just doesn't feel right, sometimes I would actually pursue it, not because I want to be, leading you astray, but you also don't want to overthink, thinking, oh goodness, it looks promising, but I'm not going to do it. It's like, well, with a human, that accidentally, just chose the wrong answer because it'll seem, promising to him and stuff like that. And that could also cause, your senses to also be, deceived, is where you're pretty much pushed, towards a chalice that you really don't think, oh goodness, I really don't want to choose it, but I know it's going to benefit me. I mean, it's always a very great area, so do whatever you feel is appropriate. If you feel like, oh goodness, well, Miss Gabriella really led me astray, I accidentally chose the wrong chalice even though she said so, always take my, suggestions with a grain of salt and do whatever feels right and stuff like that. But you also don't want to be overthinking to the point where you just panic and choose something, because it could also, turn into a really, heartbreaking moment for you. Because regarding Temperance reversed, you get Nine of Skulls, so you do get some kind of imbalance. So maybe, it's like, sometimes, maybe your own personal senses could actually be sharper than a vampire is, for that matter, because maybe, you do want to choose a chalice that you realize is not going to benefit you, and then it does eventually benefit you in the future. So any kind of path, voyage, quest that you may be heading down towards, my goodness, sometimes my hair just bothers me, but anytime, you head down towards something that you realize is actually making you feel a bit uncertain about something, that could actually just be a blessing in disguise kind of situation as well. And, but of course, always take my suggestion with a grain of salt. It's like, and, this doesn't per se have to happen, but yeah, I would just, let your own strong senses guide you, best towards what you want to do. But my little suggestion would be, just please do not overthink. It's like when you're overthinking an answer, stuff like that. Well, some humans, they, will choose the wrong answer just because they panicked, for that matter. But regarding Judgment reversed, you get Ten of Skulls. So the thing is, first you get Nine of Skulls and now you get Ten of Skulls. How about that? Well, I do see, happy home, happy hearth, happy family, and confidence within you. Even though, well, you may feel like that your senses are off, but maybe you're one of those. I mean, it's like you are like the Star card and also like the Fool card. You probably are going to approach this whole future in a laissez-faire kind of mentality, because it is definitely your own personal journey you're heading down towards. So, maybe you are approaching this whole, head into clouds kind of situation, this unrealistic mindset, but you feel incredibly confident because you get the Ten of Pentacles, which is like happy home, happy hearth, happy family, but it's also happy home, happy hearth, happy family within your own body, your own flesh and blood, of thinking, I'm confident enough and to want to approach this situation because you are already, dealing with abundance even in current times. And this is you actually, living in a more abundant, situation. So maybe you do have to kind of go through, the uncertainties, and maybe kind of, experience, what do you call it, the misty uncertainty paths, and just, well, yeah, just head on, with confidence and strength and boldness within you, because you've already had it with, with both the Queen of Wands in the past. Because regarding feeling a bit uncertain and unstable, you are being offered something in the future as well. So the thing is actually, let your senses guide you towards where you need to head towards and stuff like that. Because actually, what your mind is more or less guiding you towards is saying, okay, this may seem like a bit of an uncertain path and stuff like that. But as long as you keep following it, sometimes you do have to follow a misty path, to be able to find the clear signs and symbols of whatever it may be, because you are definitely being offered something. And despite feeling a bit overwhelmed with the Two of Pentacles, you do get the second Two of Wands, in the future. So the crux of this entire message is please listen to your own intuition and your own senses, but don't overthink and don't think, oh my goodness, I have options and opportunities. What do I choose? I would do it in a very serene, grounded mindset. I mean, even though, well, you may not seem like that with the temperance reverse, but I would just kind of just maybe do it, before going to bed or something, or even actually, no, when you wake up from your slumber and stuff like that, I would actually just, write down a really good, clear outline and some kind of trajectory of whatever it may be, and it's pretty much going to be guiding you towards uncertainty and stuff like that. But just like with the Page of Cups, it's kind of like an idea child, a bit of an illusion, but it's a daydream, that it will probably eventually turn into reality. So despite feeling overwhelmed about options, opportunities, all kinds of uncertainties and stuff like that, I just see you headstrong and bold and fixed, just like Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio, heading down towards this very beautiful journey, because this is also the general card. So this is your personal journey you're going to be heading down towards, but use your senses in a very bright and sharp manner, and it'll guide you towards wherever you need to be. Wow. Intense. Okay, you get this. Oh yeah, you get the Two of Pentacles again. Did you already get the Two of Pentacles? Yes, because this one came in reverse. But anyway, yes, you will be juggling many responsibilities and obligations and all kinds of stuff. But as long as you pretty much just keep your head focused on, the end product of what you want, wish, and desire, eventually something is going to work out in your favor. So I think no matter what, just please, just keep, balancing all of your, your motivations, your inspirations and stuff like that. Please use your senses as sharp as possible, and eventually, you'll be able to be in a really balanced, position in the future. And so, Oracle. Hunter, aggressor, tracker, and provider. You could be a provider, you could also be a hunter, but if you were a hunter and stuff like that, I would pretty much just have your eyes fixed on what you want to dream, wish, and desire. And that's also about, having a clear mindset and also letting your senses guide you towards where you need to be. But eventually, it's like going on this journey. It's like being a hunter or huntress for that matter. I mean, you could have Leo somewhere in your star chart, you could have Sagittarius somewhere in your star chart. But please, if you were to be a hunter or huntress in this matter, and you're going out into this world, I would just let your senses, guide you towards where you need to be, and eventually everything is going to work out in your favor. Wow. Okay, I'm going to finish off with 3 yes or no answers. Please feel free to pause the video and think about the questions you want answered, because for number 1, you get a yes with the Knight of Cups, a no with the Queen of Cups reversed, and a no with the Two of Cups reversed. So you get 1 yes and 2 no's in this reading. Well, my beautiful, amazing Aquarius, I'm going to have to leave it at this. But if this reading resonated, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for your love and devotion towards my channel and myself. In a few days, I'm going to go back to love readings, because this is a general reading, but I'll go back to love readings in a few days, but I'm also open for personal readings, so if anybody wants a personal reading, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and post in the little discussion box below that you want a personal reading, and then I'll respond to you with my email, and then we'll start the process from there. But anyway, thank you so much for your love and devotion towards my channel. I want to wish you all the best of luck, and thank you so much for your love.